A 40-year divide is the name of an artist's talk that commemorated my donation of 2 works of art to the State University of New York at Potsdam. My name is Ganuatsali Sue Hearn. I was joined by 4 panelists: Deutgwa Jasmine Jimerson, Yvette White, Amy Barnes, and Gwanahanda Clute.
So the talk is based on our history as a people, but it's coming through the lens of my own experience and the experience of the panelists that we have here today. This vant was made when they found 215, I think it was, remains of children at a residential school on the Canadian side, and it started the realization of what had happened and the extent of the abuse. And so, these images are artwork that I've done at different times. The painting on the bottom is about when they found those remains. It's like the spirits of those kids was rising up again to remind people of what had happened. And the top right is related to the baggage that we carry. It's called Mohawk Samsonite. It was in the first slide too. The baggage that we carry as Native people.
So as a little girl, I was spending my time with the last 12 speakers of our community. And so I experienced a lot of trauma in that time because we knew we were losing our speakers, and we were, in that last phase. And so there was a lot of fighting between groups of people. There was a lot of ego because we were in such a state of survival mode, and it was really hard times, especially being a kid and seeing all the adversity that came with trying to learn our language. And so it was really hard to learn because there was so much negativity around it and involved in it. There was so much positivity too, and like love, but it was so scary for everybody. So, people in that state, it gets really hard. So I went on to college at University of Kansas, which is right next to a boarding school called Haskell Indigenous. Now it's a university. But my great-grandma went to that school when it was a boarding school. And while I was away at school, I felt really guilty, like I should be home learning language from my grandma while she was still here. She was like 100, and she was 100 years old when I was there. So I went to visit her one time, and I was telling her I just wanted to come home and I wanted to learn language while she was still alive, and I was learning linguistics at the time. And I said, I don't want to learn linguistics. I want to learn with you. And I remember her telling me when I went to school at Haskell, my education was walking through the fields and putting the children who passed away in the fields from working. I piled them in a wheelbarrow and I put them in the back. And she said that was my education. And Lawrence, Kansas, where University of Kansas is, it's on a random hill. The university's at the top of the hill, and Haskell Indian Nations is at the bottom. And she said, go back to that school, and you go to school on the top of the hill. I couldn't get emotional. Go to school on top of the hill, and when you come home, I'll teach you the language. And sorry. So when I came back with, I was pregnant, I was about to pop. When I came back from school, I graduated. It was, my grandma was still there, and she had told me she was gonna work really hard to make sure we had something to teach the baby. So when I got back, while I was away, she worked on a really awesome project, and she put her voice on all of our entire dictionary and recorded it. And they have it on a website now. and I use it every single day when I teach my Oneida class at University of Madison. And so I get to hear her voice, and it plays it. It's so awesome. And she spoke with my daughter, and so it was a really awesome last couple years of life with my grandma.
This was one of my pieces I created here with Amy Swartale right here. I was in her class and I struggled with where do I fit, because I grew up not on reserve, well, for my first 10 years, and then my father passed, my mother got remarried, and we moved to the big city of Utica. I attended a school called Whitesboro, where our placard was a businessman fighting a savage, I would say. And basically, this painting, where do I belong? Do I belong in traditionalism? Because I did go to Freedom School. My mother tried to bring some of the culture back, even though our lives were really different. And she's split down the middle. Half of her is red, and half of her is white. She's in a business suit, and she's in a ribbon shirt and shawl. But and for the longest time, and now I'm a mother, I wasn't able to speak my own voice, to hear my own rules, to see my own truth. I went by what everybody told me, and so when I wasn't given a task, something to do, I didn't know what to do. I'd freeze a lot. So this helped me get out of that. We give birth to the universe because you have that much influence on your children and the future.
Healing, right? Healing for all of that. You put that right into those paints. You put that right into all of that beautiful imagery. That's healing for us. All kinds of art. Coming forward now with all of this knowledge, and we're not going to take this anymore. We're not going to take this standing still. We're not going to take this sitting down. We're not going to take, and that's what the red handprint means. We're not going to be silenced anymore.
I mean, I realize that a lot of what we feel and traumas we go through are universal. So in other continents, there's people that have gone through similar things. There's residential schools that have happened on other continents, and you can research and find examples of it. And it's about the assimilation process. There's countries all over the world where they want indigenous people to forget who they are and to lose their ties to their land and resources because they want to be able to extract from them, and they don't want any legal repercussion. They want people to forget that we belong to the land.
I've lived nothing but language, eat, breathe, and sleep language, and that's a rarity in our community for families to be that way. I really resonated with what Yvette talked about, because there are a lot of people in our community that do feel that way, like they don't belong, they don't have a part, they don't have nothing, and that's not their fault. It's just the thing that we went through and where we're at now. But the thing that we can change is what we do next. So a lot of like what everybody has spoken on is we can go from where we are now and we can get better. We can acknowledge that the stuff wasn't the greatest and get better. We can see what's not being done and do more.
A painting workshop was held at the end of the presentation, and one of the participants gifted Jasmine Jimerson with this painting. She was thankful for her heartfelt sharing.